Hi, welcome to Natty's Finest Fantasy Football League Report. I'm your commissioner coming to you live this Thursday evening, September 23rd. It is week 3 of the NFL season, and already so much has transpired, which I will get into a little bit later. I have two very special guests with me today. On my left, your right, I have Steve Hennigan, owner of franchise. To my right, your left, I have Adam Gully, Team Gully. Thank you guys for taking some time out to join us today. I will get into these guys a little bit later in the show. Let's get into all the action that happened last week, week 2 of Natty's Finest Fantasy Football League. Game of the week, C3 versus EA Sports. Both 1-0 teams. In the end, EA Sports prevailed. This was a great quarterback matchup. Peyton Manning versus Matt Schaub. Matt Schaub put up 41 points with Peyton Manning doing a little bit, but putting up 35 points. In the end, it wasn't enough. EA Sports, 127-114. Another much anticipated matchup. Some might even call it a friendly rivalry. Them boys versus Team Franchise. Both of these guys did very poor in week 1. In the end, I'm calling it the pickup of the century, the pickup of this season actually. Mike Vick was them boys' starting quarterback for week 2 after drafting Joe Flacco. Very good quarterback. He put up 29 points for them boys, even though Aaron Rodgers did put up 30 points for Team Franchise. It wasn't enough. In the end, them boys won. Team Franchise is starting off 0-2 the 2010 season. We'll get into that a little bit later. America's team versus Team Gully in week 2. America's team having 2 owners, the Sheehan brothers, doing pretty good thus far, I have to say. Neither team put up 100 points. However, America's team did do enough to defeat Team Gully 97-78. AP did not disappoint, putting up 29 points. And Team Gully's sole performer, Phillip Rivers, with pretty good numbers, 39 points. However, he is starting off the season 0-2 as well. And like I said before, we'll get into that just a little bit later. Next, we had Squad Up, which lamest fantasy team ever, against Team Kaiser. Now, don't let this name fool you guys. These guys did work, winning 126-90 with 5 players in double-digit points. Frank Gore leading the way with 33 out of the gates. Big ups to forgot the name. Big ups to Squad Up. We'll see what you guys do next week. The backups. A lot of people have been talking about this team. I got to tell you what, these guys shut up all the critics. They had 155 points this week against You Just Got Mossed. 6 players were in double digits, 4 of which were over 20 points. That's not a bad week. Whatever you do, if you got those kind of numbers, you're going to shut up everybody. Last but not least, the least entertaining matchup of week 2 comes from the Wildcats, who did have the #1 draft pick, I might add, versus Saints Nation, which, everybody has talked about right out the gates with their #1, #2, #3, #4, #5, #6 draft picks. No one scored over 70 points in this game, which was kind of odd. 66-64 was the ending score. Combined in the total score of this game, other teams would have beat the combined score. The combined score was only 130 points. It's just not enough. You guys are going to have to do better next week. Wildcats, you escaped very easily with an opponent of Saints Nation. Saints Nation, you already know what you have to do. Check your roster, too. There's a lot of injuries for you guys. I don't know what you're going to do down the road, but check your roster. Okay, switching gears for the moment towards our special guest. Last year's Super Bowl champion, repeat Super Bowl champion, and the first 2 seasons repeat Super Bowl champion. We have a very good guest right here. And guys, again, I'm glad you could make it out tonight. Let's get right into it. You both are starting off the season 0-2. Gully, I'll start with you. What has led you to this piss poor start of an 0-2 season?
Well, first of all, everybody in my lineup ain't producing.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 great first picks,
Okay.
which was Maurice Jones-Drew and Sean Green, which haven't done shit all year. And the only person putting up points is Phillip Rivers. Without Phillip Rivers, I'd be under 50 points every week.
Okay, so are you out in the free agent market right now? What are you going to do to turn this around?
Well, I got people on the block, trading block, anybody for a wide receiver.
Okay.
I'm even willing to trade Maurice Jones-Drew for the right person.
Hey, did you hear that, people? MJD is on the block for the right price. All right, Team Franchise, same question to you. What has led you to this piss poor start? You're 0-2. You're a past Super Bowl champion. You you also said on the message board that this is your year again. Elaborate. What's going on?
I really don't like to even blame it on my mistakes. I felt like I had a great draft.
Okay.
It's the NFL. Things happen. I think this is the year of the unnamed running back. A lot of top running backs just aren't producing.
Good point.
D'Angelo Williams, Maurice Jones-Drew, Michael Turner. A lot of running backs. Chris Johnson got held under 100 yards for the first time in 12 games.
Right.
It's been really inconsistent. I stacked my team for running backs, and I have a lot of wide receivers that I picked later on in the draft, and I didn't really go into the season expecting them to be big producers for my team. So I do have pretty much everybody on the trading block. I guess I got to kind of go with the trend and kind of see if I can readjust my team after week 2, see if I can pick up some receivers. Everybody but Aaron Rodgers is on the block on my team, so we'll see what we can do, maybe make some moves to turn this thing around.
There you go. Hey, both you guys have players on the block. Maybe you should talk between each other, even though you're both 0-2. I don't know if that would really help, but who knows?
Maybe.
All right. That kind of answered my second question of how you guys might turn this around. But is this a desperate approach for you guys already in the second week trying to trade players? You got MJD on the block, your number 1 pick, and everybody but Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, your number 1, but is this a desperate stab of getting a victory at this point? I'll take it from you first. Team, is that desperate in your eyes? Do you think this is the right thing to do at this time, or do you think you should wait it out? Your team will produce.
Now, I'm gonna wait a few weeks, but at the same time, if somebody comes at me with a nice trade for Maurice Jones-Drew, they can have it.
Okay, great.
But until I'm beat, I'm still the Super Bowl champion.
Very good point.
And as long as I make the playoffs, better watch out.
That's a very good point. Team Gully is 0-2, just to let you guys know again, and he thinks he's going to make the playoffs. Steve, is this a desperate, act of kind of rejuvenation to your team of putting all these players on the trading block this early in the season?
It's not desperate. It's smart. If I was desperate, I would be getting rid of my players for horrible trade offers. Just because my players are on the block doesn't necessarily mean I'm desperate. You're still going to have to get the right combination of players to get some of the players that I'm offering. So therefore, it's not desperate unless I'm giving up players for nothing. So
okay, good, valid point.
I'd also like to add in, I want to thank my sponsor, Bud Light, for making Team Franchise happen. You guys are great to me. Thank you.
I know one thing, that sponsors don't like losing, so keep that in mind. Lastly, I usually don't do this to losing, teams losing players. However, I'm going to give you guys both the opportunity, some FaceTime, talk about anything you want, make a statement to the league, maybe your next week opponent, you guys are playing each other, or just, someone you want to call out in particular. Adam, I'll start with you. Do you have anything to say to the league, somebody specific?
I'm guaranteeing a win this week versus Franchise. I will not be 0-3. It will not happen. And I will be back in the playoffs.
Okay. Great accusations by Team Gully. Smart, maybe a little bit overconfident, but we will see. Team Franchise, what do you have to say about that? This is your next week opponent right here. Do you have something to say to him, or do you have something to say maybe to EA Sports who called you out last week?
Well, Team Gully, that's a bold statement. I'm not going to go out there and make statements like that and set my team up for high expectations. We're going to see how it goes. Hope we get a victory. Of course, I want to win. We're in this for one reason: is to win. I hope his team can cash the checks that he's writing with his mouth. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, would I be too drastic into making a friendly wager between you guys? $10, $20, $30. Maybe a player on each other's team. Put up MJD, put up Aaron Rodgers. Who's going to win?
We're both 0-2. I think the season's on the line for both of us right now. It's a pivotal game. I think that's enough of a wager for me.
Okay. I hear you. Oh, there you go. Past Super Bowl champs, both 0-2, starting off the 2010 season. I'd like to get into last week's competition winner, EA Sports, yet again, putting up 41 points with Matt Schaub, winning another $10, has $20 already on the season after first 2 weeks. This week's prize will be the best quarterback. So if you have a quarterback out there that is going to put up high numbers, I'd start him. If you haven't given me your money yet, and if you're laughing at this, if you're paying attention to this, you guys know who you are. I need my money. It's week 3. Again, I'm nice at this point. Don't make me come after you. Good luck to all the week 3 players. This is Commish signing out. I'll let you guys next time.